Good day to our teeming lovely viewers and the lovers of the program. Banking Helpdesk. We are reaching you from the glorious Vision Television, and today we are coming to you with an interesting episode. What is now happening in the economy that you need to know. Majority of us are ignorant. We are ignorant of the development, though we take part in it. But we do what we are doing ignorantly. And we think things are good. But we are still going to pay dearly. But we are, let me say, we have actually started paying dearly for it. And going by the topic I'm announcing to you, you will realize that we have all contributed in no small measure to what is affecting Nigeria today. The topic for today is the gradual disappearance of lower denominations and the attendant hyperinflationary effects on our economy. The gradual disappearance of lower denominations and the attendant hyperinflationary effects on our economy. Now, the lower denominations, if you want to ask yourself, we all know them. I'm so surprised that in Nigeria economy of today, we are referring to 100 naira as one of the lower denominations. Well, that is what is happening. It's 100 naira to the coins, to the list of the coins. The coins are even gone. When we are talking of the paper notes in the category of lower denominations, we are talking of 100 naira notes as 100 naira, 50, 20, 10, and 5. Just leave the coins out of this. The costs, the points, the coins are resting in peace already. And me and you are paying dearly for it, we don't know. Now, the relevance of this lower denomination in our economy cannot be overemphasized. If you think because 100 naira is going, 50 naira is going, 20 naira has gone, 10 naira has gone, 5 naira is gone, and you think that the economy is developing, wow, the economy is dying. You don't know. Now, those notes were released into an economy like ours for one, ease of exchange. So when I buy and the notes are available, I pay you to the least. I pay you to the least. You get your money to the fullest. I'm not gaining from you unnecessarily, and you are not sitting on my change unnecessarily. 2, it is to facilitate ease of payment. The first one, ease of exchange. I take from you, I give to you. Ease of payment, pay you in full. If I buy something for 100,000 and 10 naira, and the 10 naira is available, I give it to you. One is shortchanging the other because of the non-availability of the appropriate note. And imagine what happens in the economy on a daily basis as a result of disappearance of 10 naira notes or insufficient supply of 10 naira notes. The next one is checkmating hike of commodities and service prices. Because what is happening now is, since you rarely have 50 naira commodities, they jack up the price of commodities, making the 100 naira the least. And in a situation where those notes are available, what do? They keep the prices of the commodity at the appropriate level. The next one is they complement the higher denominations in the time of pressure. Let me explain this to you. In the time of higher demand of cash compared to the available volume of cash, the authorities release what? They release the lower denominations for use, and people will collect. Like somebody is always saying, 1,500 naira in Abuja, let us manage 200 naira down. In the absence of the higher denominations, what happens? You use the available ones. But those ones who used to be available are no longer available. And me and you are smiling. The next one is, under the relevance of those notes, the next one is enhancing the purchasing power of the local currency, to mention a few. All those things we have mentioned. When those things are around, that is, and they are being used as expected, what happens to our local currencies? They become relevant, and they will not lose their purchasing power. Don't you know that as of now, that we are not having 20 naira notes as expected, 10 naira notes, 5 naira notes, and you think the economy is developing? The naira is losing its purchasing power because we are deliberately inviting inflation. And when inflation comes, really, as the importance of naira is dropping. Naira is not that important, or it's not as important as expected. What happens to 20 naira? What happens to 50 naira? 10 naira? And I once said it, in our church, we don't take 50 naira again. Wow. What if somebody brings 50 naira in 10 places? How much is that? Is that not 500 naira? Nigerians. Now let's go to the major reasons for the tactical withdrawal. The economy is cash-based. That is, the amount involved in minting and printing of our notes is actually higher than the value of the currency being printed. That's basic. The cost of printing our notes are higher than the value of the money printed. Let's say the cost of the money is 1 trillion. I'm just citing an example. And the amount we are printing is what? Is 100 billion naira. If you subject it to business evaluation, that is not making enough senses. No. It's not making enough senses. But we don't print every day. Or no reasonable monetary authority will print every year. No. When you print, you allow us to use until they fade out, and you replace them. You are not printing, oh my God, you are not printing additional notes. Replace the old ones so as to keep the inflations within the economy in check. So if the cost is higher than the amount, and based on that, the government is not printing, or the government is phasing out some denominations, it makes a lot of business senses. But like our own argument to that, we don't print every year. So we are being made to pay for these things. And like so many other beautiful programs, economic development programs the government is doing, something like this is negating them. If you cannot have 100 naira, try to pay somebody 10,000 naira with 100 naira now. Person will reject. No, go on, do transfer to my account. Who are we undoing? Now that we are considering 100 naira notes as a lower denomination. Wow. We are undoing ourselves. Now, we want to talk about ignorance of most of the citizenry. Ignorance. Ignorance. We think we are growing. We are not even static. We are going down. Because of what? Ignorance. Number one, absence of those notes makes a lot of economic senses. Oh, no, sorry. The government perception of what is happening to me and you is making a lot of economic senses if the volume of cash is reduced. And let us pull out 100 naira, 50 naira, 20 naira and below. That is, it makes a lot of economic senses if the volume of cash is reduced. But it shouldn't have been through that method. It shouldn't have been through that approach. It should have been through the withdrawal of higher denominations. Yeah. Because you need to add a lot of notes together to make 1,000 naira. As 50 pieces of 20 naira. 20 pieces of 50 naira. 10 pieces of 100 naira to give you 1,000 naira. So if you withdraw the high denominations, that is, you have actually reduced the volume of cash. But for the users of 100,000 naira, sorry, 100 and 1,000 naira and 500 naira, that idea will not be supported. Number two, outright withdrawal is completely unhealthy for a growing economy like ours. Outright withdrawal of lower denominations, quite unhealthy. Not at this time. No. The next one is mentality of seeing lower denominations as being for the poor. Mentality of seeing lower denominations as being for the poor. No. Let us come of it. Let us change our mindset. On my own, while I won't blame Nigerians, is because we don't have new 100 naira notes. 100 naira notes are beautiful. When you hold the notes, they are beautiful. But because of the cost of printing, we are being compelled to spend the old ones. That's not good enough. So let us repackage the whole thing. For example, in a developing economy like ours, price of goods and services are usually tied to the available denomination. I've said it minutes ago. No, I don't have 50 naira notes. Okay, give me a biscuit that is costing 50 naira. I'm sure there's no biscuit, no brand of biscuit that's been sold for 50 naira. The next time you come to buy a provision or some provisions, what happens? You will not find anything that's of 50 naira in the market again. See, the lowest price will be 100 naira. Though cost of producing is high, but not at that rate. Deliberate phasing out of goods and prices and goods and services that are of 50 naira value is not a good development. We are deliberately increasing the prices of commodities ourselves because we think we have arrived. Who will spend 50 naira? Don't give me 20 naira. We are already paying dearly for it. Gradual disappearance of lower denominations and the attendant hyperinflationary effects is ravaging our economy. I know the Monetary Authority has never come out to say we are withdrawing 50 naira. What is happening? In those days when things used to be good, what will happen? Those 100 naira by now would have been withdrawn from the system and the new ones released, but for the cost. For the cost. So let us have a brief comparison with developed economy. Developed economies of the world. We want to compare their currencies with ours. Most of transactions in those developed economies are done in cards and transfers. They do not use high volume of cash. They don't use high volume of cash. They are done in cards and transfers. Somebody told me when he wanted to visit Nigeria years back, he needed £5,000 from the bank in UK, and he had to book ahead of time, £5,000. I'm talking of sometimes around 1999 year 2000, £5,000. This, the currencies available for them are so valued. And I'm here to see a dollar, whether $1, $5, $10, 20 or 100, that is as dirty as our own currency here. So the government cannot be held responsible for everything that is working against us. What are we contributing? Me and you, what are we contributing? Who are the government officials making use of 100 naira, 200 naira? What will they do with it? I doubt if they even use 500 naira. They use 1,000 naira. And that is why the 1,000 naira notes are still neat, appreciably neat, substantially neat. We can do the same with our lower denominations. So, in most of the developed economies of the world, what happens? They use cards and transfers. And when they do that, they bypass the use of cash every time. That's what they do. Number two, volume of money is kept at reasonable level. E.g., no denomination is higher than $100. I'm here to see it. I'm here to see $200. I'm here to see $500. What? I stand to be corrected. What I know, I see most is $100 as the highest denomination of dollars. So I wouldn't know if they have 500 naira. I'm here to see it. And in America, they still spend coins. It's a developed economy. They spend coins. If you want to take Coca-Cola in the US, where they have reservoir all about, all you need to do is to insert your coins and place your cup. The something pours out Coca-Cola for you. That's if you don't want to take a bottle, take it and leave, because the coins are available. I doubt if you give a coin to Nigeria today, if the person will not pass courses on you. For what? And that is why we are groaning in pains of economics as conditions. Because we on our own have regarded some denominations as unwanted. And you know what? Once that is done, the government will just gradually place them somewhere. You don't want them again. They also like it. We have regarded them as being unwanted. We are paying dearly for these things and we don't know. Coins should still be relevant in an underdeveloped economy like ours. We only regard these things as being useful in time of figure. 385,000 naira and 10 kobo. You can't see the kobo physically. What happens? The kobo is just existing in the figure. If I say pay me the physical cash, for example, I will have to forgo the cover. That's not a reasonable operation of the economy. No. Okay, if you cannot get me 1,000 naira, okay, transfer the money to my account. Transfers are good, but what happens to our lower denominations? Adjust it. A productive economy, example, in terms of exportation and diversification, where economy or an economy is productive and they are not a monoproduct economy like us. You have diversifications and you have exportation. When you export, you have money. When you diversify, that is, you are into so many things. Like in Japan, they produce electronics. They produce cars. They produce a lot of things. Their economy is not centered on a particular product. So they don't need to print currencies. What do they produce in the US? What do they produce in the UK? The Chinese produce. The eastern part of the world, they produce a lot of things. They produce cars. And those places are the homes of electronics. When you talk of developed economies, they don't need high denominations. They use what? They use cards. And when they want to use physical cash, it is done with decorum. Yes, transfers and few cash. So the government is coming with a policy. I pray it works. It's going to begin with partial cashless, which will later on graduate to what? Total cashless. And I want to be realistic with you. No economy can be completely cashless. No, except we are deceiving ourselves. You will still need cash. What we can do is to appreciably reduce the use of cash in our economy. You cannot phase out the use of cash. So nobody will use cash again. No, not at this level. So the practical observation of the development shows that very few commodities are being sold for 50 naira and so on. I've mentioned it. Another one is that rejection of even 100 naira and 200 naira notes for some transactional settlements is not a good development. If I want to pay you 10,000 naira and you are still rejecting 50 pieces of 200 naira notes and you think the economy is growing, wow, let us wise up. Let us wise up. The economy is not growing. The economy is somersaulting. If I want to pay you 10,000 naira and you don't want 50 pieces of 200 naira notes, Nigerians, we are undoing ourselves. The next one is the state of our damaged and dirty 200 and 100 naira notes. Something should be done to rescue the economy. Something should be done. And I want to believe in those days when 200 naira and 100 naira notes were still forming part of the high denominations, they were not like this. They are still valid for transaction. Our monetary authority should rise up and do something about it. Now, in conclusion, mind you, a push for printing of 5,000 naira notes will constitute a killer blow at this period in time. Give us 5,000 naira notes, and you think the problems are going to be solved. God forbid at this level. With 500 naira notes, 5,000 naira notes as the higher denomination within this economy, what happens to 200 naira? What happens to 100 naira? It means 50 naira will now become 5 naira. of those days. I personally don't pray for that. Even with 1,000 naira notes, see what is happening to our economy. Those who are pushing for 500 naira notes, they have money. They don't need 200 naira notes. But what is their percentage compared to what? To the total of 200 million plus of Nigerians. Let us wise up. Partial cashless will help reasonably. Partial cashless economy will help to an appreciable extent. Instead of pushing for printing of 5,000 naira notes. Let us take these things for examination and for reasoning. Total disappearance of 200 naira notes and below will not do us any good. Thank you for watching us today. It's a food for thought. Till we come your way next time, I am James FADIPE, your anchor person on Banking Helpdesk from GVTV. Bye for now.